Hello everyone and welcome to The Theorist, here with your host, JC Botero67. And unfortunately, Alex cannot guest star on this review today. He had something come up. So anyway, I'll, kind of guide you through what happened in this milestone chapter. So chapter starts off with Johan stepping into the foyer, and Ciel, kind of suddenly looks in Johan's direction and is startled at seeing a woman suddenly in his manor, but then he comes to realize that it is Johan. And as the two engage in talk, the music ends. So Ciel was sitting in there, he was listening to a track on his new gramophone. And it's really funny because Sebastian is quick to put in another record. And, this kind of irks Ciel because, Sebastian's messing with his new toy and whatnot. And then a new song kind of playing in the background. And, because I've noticed when I'm working here at my job, we're listening to music with some coworkers, and then suddenly the music ends, and we don't realize it, until a little short bit after. So I don't know, it's just kind of that kind of moment. I know it's kind of random, but anyway, Johan is then prompted to ask Ciel to dance because, there's suddenly music again. And I'm going to read a little bit from chapter 30 here. And this is from Sebastian's point of view, of course. And this is after Johan asks, "Would you care to dance?" My master looked as helpless as a fish ashore, squirming with terrified embarrassment that for his age and his status he still could not manage a decent waltz, as Johan would soon come to realize. In seeing his dreadful expression, his face a starling red, I could not stifle a solitary bark of laughter, to which I received a swift, "Shut it." And then this leads to this next part that had me like, oh damn, catfight is in the works. You know it's improper for a lady to initiate a dance. She's expected to wait for a gentleman to offer. And that was Ciel, by the way. And then this is Johan's response. Well, if that is the case, then I say I was given no choice but to break propriety, because I see no gentleman in this room, save for the butler. So, it's kind of insulting Ciel, like, oh, you're not a man. Like, the only man I see here is the butler. So, it's kind of funny. And then, they just keep having, this back and forth banter, I guess. It's not, it's playful banter. It's not, insultive and whatnot. It is, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Ciel then tries getting Johan to dance with Sebastian as part of that, playful banter. But then eventually Ciel just gives in and shares this dance with Johan. And so Ciel is horribly leading the dance because he just can't dance. And then at one point Johan's like, okay, let me take charge. Let me show you how to lead, because Ciel's kind of pushing and pulling, and the art of dance is basically kind of guiding, not so much there's a better way that Johan phrases it, so I'm just going to go ahead and read that for you guys. We all know the steps to the music. Those are drilled over and over because the real movement of the dance happens in the core of us. My arms are there to steady this movement, not to push and pull. And once Ciel starts getting the hang of that and doing much better, Sebastian is just left astounded. And this is another bit from chapter 30. Johan had managed in 5 minutes what no instructor had been able to accomplish in years. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited now that Ciel is able to pull off some dance moves. Come dance with me. So anyway, moving along with this chapter here. After they finish their dance, they kind of stay in each other's arms talking for a bit, which is kind of like, ooh, and, kind of Sebastian is kind of picking up on some signs from Ciel that maybe Ciel is a little interested in Johan now. And then, Ciel and Johan are still in each other's arms for a little bit longer until Ciel's suddenly like, oh, it's tea time, let go of me. No, he doesn't really say let go of me, but yeah, he pretty much says, oh, it's time for tea, because he's kind of tired from the dancing and whatnot. So then the two, go on to talk about something else, and precisely the topic is fiancés. And Johan goes on to say that his fiancé is daft as a doorknob. And he also says that no matter how many other girls seem charming, he's just not thrilled with them. So after Johan pretty much tells Ciel that, Ciel offers for them to go to a more private place to continue talking. And there, he talks about Lizzie and that he feels the same way Johan does about his fiancée. And, Ciel goes on to say, like, oh, my interest lies elsewhere. And then Johan immediately is like, oh, you like men. And here is another quote, and this time it's from Johan. And actually, it's a little bit more than just Johan. I'm going to do a back and forth dialogue switch here. I have a few important confessions. Listen to me for a moment. I already knew about this. About you and... Oh, Jesus Christ, he told you? What else has he told you? He said the two of you had a falling out. And so Johan goes on to basically insinuate that Sebastian has regret that what Ciel and Sebastian had, came to an end. And Sebastian is actually spying in on them. So he's kind of standing in the hallway, kind of peeking into the doorknob. Like there's like the little peephole. So he's looking in on there to see what they're doing, what they're talking about. And when Sebastian, kind of hears the tone that Johan is using about, him, Sebastian, and Ciel having a fallout, Sebastian has a difficult time admitting that he regrets that it all ended between him and Ciel, whereas Johan could pick up on it so quickly. But anyway, to what we've been frickin' waiting for, the kiss between Ciel and Johan happens. It doesn't last long, though, because Ciel ends up pushing him off, he leaves, Johan is left in the room in tears, and by this point, Sebastian kind of vanished away from the hallway, so Ciel doesn't see him out there. But, of course, he's feigning that he doesn't know anything about what just happened. So, he goes to Ciel's room, and he's like, oh, Johan was left in tears. And, I'll go ahead and read a little bit from the chapter again, because Eglentyne can put this into words better than I can. So, starting off with Sebastian, Johan is downstairs crying his eyes out, and as sensitive as he may be, I know he is not prone to spontaneous fits of sobbing. We're not having this discussion. I just need a minute. To do what, my lord? Stare out the window? Damn it, why must you always be in my business? And then Ciel just ultimately gives himself away because he's randomly touching his lips, and Sebastian suddenly is all like, ha, you kissed him. And Ciel's like, no, he kissed me. And then he lashes out at Sebastian and is just all like, oh, you put him up to this, didn't you? And they keep talking, and Sebastian insists that he cannot lie to, he cannot hurt, and he cannot betray Ciel's trust. And this hurts Ciel, who is on the verge of tears, and Sebastian basically tells him, oh, go seek comfort in Johan, which Ciel seems to do as he leaves his room. And, this was very unexpected of Sebastian, but he stays behind to cuddle with Ciel's pillow, and, he's smelling the scent of cinnamon and heather and whatnot. And yeah, it's just, as harsh as Sebastian is being with Ciel, and him having such a difficult time admitting that he's falling for Ciel, or has feelings for him at least, it's interesting to see the physical display of it. I loved that scene. It was very random and not expected of Sebastian, but the way Eglentyne wrote it into the story was perfect. So anyway, time skips a few days, and Sebastian is gathering stuff up from the main manor that he's going to take to the townhouse in order to prepare for the upcoming ball that Ciel is hosting. And upon return to the townhouse, he's settling the stuff down. He brought Ciel's violin, he put it by the piano. He also brought Ciel's journal, the one that Sebastian was reading, and he probably left it in Ciel's room, or at least in Ciel's suitcase of stuff. But anyway, once he's done, getting stuff put into place, he decides to go spy on Ciel and Johan. And here is one final quote that I'm going to be reading from this chapter. The master bedroom faced east, its two windows looking from the side of the house, and much of the view was obscured by trees. Perhaps it was curiosity, plain and simple. Perhaps I just needed to see them, to have absolutely no doubt in my mind. Perhaps I wanted to know what they looked like together. From the branch of the oak tree hanging a few feet from the window ledge, I peered through, and as sure as hell itself, they were in the heat of it. So I'm just like, oh damn, they're getting it on. And, you know, I'm really eager to see the Johann Ciel Lemon take place at the beginning of chapter 31. You know, I want to know who's with me, because I think I am such a big Cielium freak, but Ciel Johann is really interesting, and I really want to see them in the action. And man, I don't know if I want to write one-shots per se on this couple, but it's interesting. So thank you, Eglentyne, for providing all of us with yet another crack pairing, I guess. And moving on to the author's note now, I must say, it is so awesome that Eglentyne has such a supportive husband, because I guess he's kind of been pushing her to turn this story into an ebook. And I'm just like, hex to the yeah, dude. Like, you know, go for it, because it's such a great story. Like I've said before, it's probably one of the best Black Butler fanfics that I've read, just because I can see it really happening. Like I could see it, you know, be it in manga format or anime format or both, I could see that totally happening. Like Eglentyne has the characters to a T, just the way she describes things, the way she makes the characters act, it's all perfection, to be honest. And then, before I bid you all farewell, I want to shout out to Eglentyne and thank her for her comment she left on one of these reviews that I do. You know, she responded to a conversation that Alex and I had a few reviews ago about this cult who was led by some Aleister guy. And, you know, I was just like, I wonder if Jana got inspiration for Aleister based on that Aleister. And, you know, Eglentyne believes that it could be true. And, you know, she went on to say that Aleister, not the Black Butler one, but I guess both of them, you know, are kind of perverted, kind of flamboyant. So I could totally see where that inspiration comes from now. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you. I mean, I'll eventually respond to your comment, but I mean, it was such a pleasant and awesome surprise, you know, opening my Gmail and seeing an alert of, oh, you have a comment left on your video. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Eglentyne, that's awesome. But anyway, I definitely look forward to next chapter. Can't wait to see what it brings. And I can't wait to hear from more of you, Eglentyne. So feel free to, again, comment on one of my other videos. And that's pretty much it. So I don't really have many predictions to make. Like I've said before, maybe Lizzie catches Ciel and Johann in the act, more so now that Ciel's taken a liking to Johann. Potential death could occur at the ball. You know, it could be Johann. I've also mentioned before, like, you know, maybe his father has something to do with Johann's death if Johann is the one to perish at the ball. And of course, we'd see Grell, so that'd be cool. So hopefully Grell makes an appearance, you know, maybe not next chapter, but maybe the chapter after. And I know Alex will be really super excited about that. So that being said, comment below with any predictions you may have. And I will catch you guys all in the next review. Bye-bye.